So let's start with the story. So we see here Elon Musk tweeting about baby shark. Stock goes up a little bit. But I think the real story here with Musk out from the Journal last night saying that the SEC communicated with Tesla a couple of different times on Musk violating their agreement, the SEC's agreement and Musk's agreement on what he would and would not tweet. Now, I'm of two minds here, Julie. I think we all know that Elon Musk is not really abiding by those standards, but it is always interesting when these communications get leaked to the press. The SEC is clearly unhappy about this state of play, and they would like the business paper of record to make Tesla aware of this and perhaps I don't think anything is going to change, but they're just flagging here for everybody that thinks they're asleep at the wheel with Tesla, that they are trying to change the state of affairs.
Yeah, good luck, SEC, unless they're actually going to do something a little bit more punitive in this case. And to be clear, the SEC didn't say to Elon Musk, don't tweet, right? They didn't even say don't tweet anything material. They said if you're going to tweet, from at least my reading of it is, if you're going to tweet something material, if you're going to tweet a forecast for the company, for example, you have to get it vetted by lawyers. And seemingly that's not what he did. In a couple of cases, he tweeted without getting it vetted.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Boy oh boy, do I have a fun video for you guys and girls today. There's three types of people in this world. Those who blindly obey all rules without question, those who selectively obey rules after some thought, and those who by default disobey rules and authority just for its own sake. I myself happen to be the second type of person. I don't obey rules for their own sake. I always think to myself, does this make sense? And if not, I'm happy to give the double bird to whoever's imposed this rule because it makes no fucking sense. I got a funny feeling that Elon Musk happens to also be the second type of person. Some recent pseudo-FUD has appeared in the mainstream media discussing some actions taken by the SEC, that stands for Suck Elon's Cock for those of you that don't know, who in 2019 and 2020 sent some letters to Tesla saying that Elon Musk had been a naughty boy. We're only just hearing about this news now, and in this video I'm going to detail how useless and incompetent the Securities and Exchange Commission actually are, how they failed to do their job, why Elon Musk gives zero fucks and continues to troll these morons, why his behavior will not change, why this was obvious from the moment the SEC attempted to enforce some restrictions upon Tesla and Elon Musk, and why blindly obeying rules and authority is never a good way to live one's life. So let's get into the video. And by the way, since I know there's a lot of crypto lovers watching and people who like free stuff, it's your lucky day. For a limited time, you can get up to $250 in free crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. It also helps out the channel. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $250 just for opening an account. And if you fund your account with $100, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $1,600. Unless you don't like free stocks, that is. And if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it. To kick things off, we're first going to try to understand the actual purpose, the key role of the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC. I quote Wikipedia, "The primary purpose of the SEC is to enforce the law against market manipulation." One more time, the primary purpose, as in the overarching mission, the one thing the SEC is meant to do is to enforce the law against market manipulation. Now allow me to be clear, this is an admirable and necessary goal. There's just one problem. The SEC fails to do this every fucking day. Hedge funds are out there, shills are out in the media manipulating the stock market. It happens on a daily basis. Now, a few of you are thinking, dude, you're a freaking conspiracy theorist. What are you talking about, man? Of course they're going to catch this stuff. Ha! Yeah, you obviously haven't seen my video from Jim Cramer where he got a little bit talkative, had a bit of a runny nose. I'm not sure what got into him. Got into him. You probably don't get it. Well, some of you get it anyway. and divulged literally exactly how hedge funds manipulate the price of stocks on a daily basis. If you haven't seen that video, check out the card in the corner. Literally, stop watching this video. If you have not seen that yet, nothing will make sense unless you see this. Kramer literally lays out a plan. This is exactly how you manipulate stocks. This is exactly how you drive a stock down or up. He gives details on exactly how to do it. Remember, Jim Cramer himself ran a hedge fund for many, many years in, I think, the 80s and 90s, okay? He's literally laying out the game plan of how hedge funds, wait for it, manipulate the price of stocks. Those of you who know will know this stuff happens on a daily basis in the stock market. I was quite naive many years ago. I thought this stuff would never happen. How could you possibly manipulate stocks? It turns out this is how hedge funds, not all of them, but the vast majority of them make their money. Now, the point I'm making here is that the SEC has a job to do and they don't do it. Therefore, their credibility, zero. The amount of respect that they deserve for actually accomplishing their mission, zero. And this, I believe, is why Elon has zero respect for the SEC. In fact, let's hear what Elon Musk himself had to say about these clowns.
You tweet a lot.
I use my tweets to express myself. Some people use their hair.
You don't say. But in all seriousness though, Elon is actually making an extremely important point here. This is Elon's freedom to express himself, freedom of speech. Let's continue.
I use Twitter.
Well, but you use your tweeting to kind of get back at critics.
Rarely.
You kind of have little wars with the press.
Twitter is a war zone. If somebody's going to jump in the war zone, it's like, okay, you're in the arena. Let's go.
Reasonably fair point, but I just love how manipulative 60 Minutes are not. The fact that she's suggesting that Elon is primarily using Twitter to hit back at critics. I mean, obviously he's not. But anyway, let's move on.
His war zone tweeting drew fire when out of the blue in August he tweeted, quote, "Am considering taking Tesla private at 420. Funding secured."
Now this is Elon thinking, expressing his thoughts out loud. Now certainly I actually believe this was an error of judgment on Elon Musk's part. This was never going to end well. However, one, it was funny, and two, the SEC reaction, well, let's just see what happened.
The SEC disputed that claim and charged him with securities fraud, with Musk agreeing that his communications relating to the company, including Twitter, would be overseen by his board.
Have you had any of your tweets censored since the settlement?
No.
Don't you love the response from Elon? Like, no. Let's continue.
None. Does someone have to read them before they go out?
No.
I love this. Again, Elon's like, no, even though the settlement suggests that they do. Let's continue.
So your tweets are not supervised?
The only tweets that would have to be reviewed would be if a tweet had a probability of causing a movement in the stock.
And that's it?
Yeah, I mean, otherwise it's, hello, First Amendment. Like, freedom of speech is fundamental.
But
Now, very important there. You can see Elon a little bit sort of very, very strong in his conviction about how important freedom of speech is. And again, I completely agree. Don't get me started on the censorship of big... Don't even let me start. I'm with Elon on this one. Absolutely.
how do they know if it's going to move the market if they're not reading all of them before you send them?
Well, I guess we might make some mistakes.
This was the tell. This was the tell for those of you who are like, oh, I'm so surprised that Elon Musk has continued to tweet things that the SEC got butthurt about. See that cheeky look on Elon's face? In my opinion, I could be reading into the tea leaves too much. But this is the same kind of expression that would be on my face when I have a complete and utter disdain for unreasonable authority, a total lack of respect for, say, somebody like the SEC, and a clear intent to give the double bird to their stupid rules. Because again, like I talked about at the beginning of this video, there's three types of people in this world. Those who blindly obey rules without question, not Elon, not myself. Number two, those who question everything and selectively obey rules based on whether or not they make sense. That's Elon and myself. And three, those who disobey rules for their own sake. Not Elon, nor myself. I think Elon's expression here says it all.
Well, I guess we might make some mistakes. Who knows?
We might make some mistakes. Who knows? AKA, go f*** yourself, SEC. I'm going to tweet whatever I want. Come at me, bro.
Are you serious?
No, he's perfect.
I love that. Such a troll. I love it. I mean, I just love it. Elon's about to share his thoughts on the SEC.
Look at you.
I want to be clear. I do not respect the SEC. I do not respect them.
But
I love it. And I agree. And again, I really believe this all boils down to the fact that the SEC don't do their fucking job. Their job is to stop stock market manipulation, not censor somebody for making a few tweets and sharing their thoughts. Now, I totally admit the 420 tweet, that was over the line. Elon had to pay for that. There was a fine imposed. Big deal. But the point is, if the SEC aren't doing their job, they're not enforcing, they're not stopping all these hedge funds actually manipulating stocks on a daily basis. They're not looking into all these shills, these paid shills that are turning up on CNBS, hating on Tesla, etc., literally manipulating the stock price. They're not taking action against all the fuddy media outlets spreading lies, misinformation, and deceptive reporting, doing material harm to the price of Tesla stock and many other stocks as well. They do not deserve any respect. Elon and I are on the absolute same page on this one.
but you're abiding by the settlement, aren't you?
Because I respect the justice system.
And now with that groundwork laid, let's look at the latest relating to the SEC, Elon Musk, and Tesla.
There's no winning here, really, for the SEC, right? Because what can they do? They've set out this guideline for him. I suppose they can fine him and the company, which they, of course, have done in the past, again, if they want to do it. But, I mean, Elon's going to do what Elon's going to do. So it seems like so is the SEC, but there's sort of a stalemate situation here, right? Because the SEC has to do its due diligence. I don't know if at some point they could block him from Twitter, but it certainly doesn't seem to be that we're at that point. So it seems like this is just going to continue as it has been, right? He'll just tweet what he wants to tweet. They'll slap him on the wrist occasionally, right?
Yeah, well, look, this is a failure of corporate governance in Tesla. My interpretation was that the board was supposed to be approving these tweets. And so let's just go head over to the Tesla more formal investor relations page and see who's on that board. You have Elon Musk, bro, Larry Ellison, a billionaire. They are friends. They are hashtag besties. You name it. It's hard to see Larry Ellison, despite being on that board, stepping up to Elon Musk and saying, hey, dude, don't tweet that out. You're not supposed to be doing it. Oh, yeah. And just below Larry Ellison on the Tesla IR website, you have Kimball Musk, his brother. So it's unlikely Kimball Musk, who is a long-time restaurateur, stepping in with his cowboy hat and telling Elon Musk, hey, dude, probably shouldn't put out this tweet. Not a good look. So you have a very friendly, cozy board that is unlikely to change anytime soon. Hence, you will continue to likely see these tweets from Elon Musk.
I think the best way to sum this one up is that the Tesla board is going to let Elon. I mean, it's worked out relatively well. Do we need to go back through the company history? Zip2, PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and the Boring Company. Seems to be the case. If you let Elon do what he wants to do, let Elon say what he wants to say, let Elon have the freedom to execute, share his thoughts, and do whatever else the fuck he wants to, things generally tend to work out okay for shareholders, not so much for short sellers.
Yeah, and I mean, if you go back to the beginning of this, it was all around the funding secured, 420 going private, tweets. That was at a split adjusted $160 per share, something like that. And right now the stock is trading at 630. So there's a very, 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 very long way to go, I think, for Tesla stock if we're to get in a position where all of a sudden, investors or the board would view Elon as CEO of not, kind of doing his fiduciary duty. I mean, the stock has been amazing for long-term shareholders. It continues to be good for shareholders on, at this point, on pretty much any kind of 1, 2, 3, 5-year rolling basis. And so, things were different in 2018 for Tesla, for sure. There were a lot more questions back then about how the business was going to perform longer term. Those questions have long since been answered there. So again, stock up about 10x from funding secured. So, again, a long way to go before we start talking about Tesla's future as a going concern in any kind of credible way.
Some great points here from Miles. I've got to say it once again. This guy's definitely been watching YouTube, reading Twitter, and actually thinking for himself rather than just being spoon-fed all the FUD in the media. I'm calling it now. He's not going to be on Yahoo Finance that much longer. Not allowed to have independent thinkers here who aren't out to spread FUD but are actually able to think first and speak second. Calling it now, Miles, your days at Yahoo Finance are numbered. You're going to end up doing your own YouTube channel. You're going to end up on another network somewhere, anywhere other than in the mainstream finance media. You just don't belong there, dude. Too much thinking. Not enough FUD. It's not going to last. And now, finally, we're going to read through the article that spurred all of this recent discussion. Keeping in mind, this is not new news. It's new reporting on events from 2019 and 2020. Or over here on the Wall Street Journal, SEC is running out of options to rein in Elon Musk. Tesla CEO has resisted regulators' demand for restraint in his public comments. The Securities and Exchange Commission has tried for several years to get Elon Musk to behave more like a typical corporate leader. It hasn't worked. Thank f***. The SEC sued Mr. Musk and Tesla in 2018 over tweets the regulator deemed fraudulent, settling the case for a combined $40 million, by the way. Just want to point this out, a $20 million fine to Tesla, and I believe a $20 million fine to Elon Musk. Elon, however, actually bought $20 million of additional Tesla stock. Go look up Tesla's stock price in 2018 to see how that worked out. I think this was his way of saying, sorry guys, look, I'll take this one, I'll cop it on the chin. I don't want Tesla to be able to pocket 20 mil, so I'll actually buy some stock, effectively compensating Tesla for the $20 million fine. I think that's what Elon was doing. And it's worked out okay. And changes to the company's corporate governance. As part of the deal, it also fashioned a unique way to restrain Mr. Musk's social media habit, forcing the company to pre-approve any statement by its CEO that could move markets. The Wall Street Journal reported Tuesday that SEC officials wrote to Tesla twice in 2019 and 2020, arguing that some of Mr. Musk's tweets should have undergone that required oversight. Nobody's perfect. Tesla disagreed, telling the SEC that his messages weren't within the scope of the agreement. There was no precedent for the communications oversight policy in financial enforcement, although regulators often prod companies to improve compliance in the wake of scandals or missteps. Restraining how a brash CEO communicates with the public and investors has only led to more feuds with Mr. Musk and Tesla, who seem to understand the leverage they have. Because Elon is so intertwined with this company, any serious enforcement action against Musk has the potential to harm the company and shareholders. Now, this is a really great point, said David Rosenfeld, a former SEC official now teaching law at Northern Illinois University. It could end up being counterproductive. Musk has been poking the bear because he knows he can get away with it. Once again, we're seeing the double bird come out. This is a great point, right? Imagine the SEC does enforce something. I don't know, they strip Elon Musk of his CEO title, actually Techno King of Tesla title now, or they try to ban him from Twitter. What do you think that does to the Tesla stock price? They get gutted, right? Tesla stock will crash, no question. So the SEC stuck between a rock, a hard place, and Elon Musk. And I can really relate to Elon here on a personal level. I love to poke the bear. I'll give you guys one or two examples. Years ago, I was driving some friends home from a gig in Sydney about 3 a.m, no cars around anywhere. I did an illegal U-turn at a set of traffic lights, save us about 10 minutes of driving. I wanted to get everybody home to do a legal turn, right? I'm like, fuck it, right? There's no cars around, this isn't unsafe. Do the U-turn. Tiny set of headlights in the distance come flying down the highway, speeding like crazy. Blue and red lights start flashing. I'm like, oh, rip. I'm in trouble. Police officer knocks on the window. Mate, what are you doing? That's so dangerous, blah, 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 blah. Now, me being me, can't help myself. It's in my personality, and this is why I relate so closely to Elon here. I said, that wasn't actually dangerous, dude. It took you like 1 minute to get to me, and you were the closest car. I understand why the rule's there, but what I did then actually wasn't unsafe. Not a smart thing to say to a cop, right? I instantly get slapped with a fine. He's losing his shit. But again, I'm somebody who always questions the rules. Now, I'll never drive drunk and I don't speed because that does increase the risk of a crash, an accident, etc. Okay? I'm not a moron. But if there's literally no cars around me, I'm happy to break the law and do something illegal if I personally don't deem it to be unsafe, which was the case. I mean, literally the only car around is the cops, and it took them like a minute to get to me. And this is the point. I can't help but poke the bear. It's just innate in my personality, and this is why I understand Elon so well and where he's coming from here. The SEC deserve zero respect, and they're getting zero respect. Regulators say Tesla never followed through with oversight. Nobody's perfect. We might make some mistakes. I mean, bet they didn't see that one coming. While Mr. Musk has continued to tweet in a way that the SEC saw as violating the court-ordered policy, according to correspondence obtained this week by the Journal under a Freedom of Information Act request. Tesla didn't respond to requests for comment. Obviously, no PR department, waste of time. Many small shareholders revel in Mr. Musk's willingness to stiff-arm regulators. They got me. Guilty as charged. Others are weary of the spectacle. Ross Gerber, Chief Executive of Gerber Kawasaki Wealth and Investment Manager, shout out to Ross, a Tesla shareholder, said he would like to see the company's board of directors step in to moderate Mr. Musk's behaviour on Twitter. And Ross, I vehemently disagree with you on this one, mate. Elon Musk is a package. Like it or leave it, you get the whole package or none of the package. Deal with it. I'm disappointed with the lack of oversight, and I'm annoyed that Elon seems to feel that he's exempt from any criticism for his behaviour, said Mr. Gerber, whose firm has about $1.85 billion in assets under management. To get the result it wants, the SEC could double down on the policy by going back to federal court and asking a judge to hold Mr. Musk in contempt for violating it. The regulator also could try to unwind the whole deal and resume its fraud lawsuit against Mr. Musk, with the potential to have him barred from public markets. Neither option is appealing, according to securities lawyers and legal researchers. The SEC's previous attempt in early 2019 to get US District Judge Allison Nathan to force Mr. Musk and Tesla to follow the agreement didn't work out as planned. Judge Nathan told the two sides to put their reasonable pants on and settle the matter. In response, the SEC and Tesla agreed in April 2019 to narrow the list of items required for pre-approval. While the first deal called for oversight of any written communication that could be material to shareholders, the second version specified 8 or 9 topics that Tesla's lawyers had to review before Mr. Musk could tweet about them, including statements about production numbers, projections, and finances. The SEC has to be careful to not go too far and stifle an executive from sharing useful information with markets, said Donald Langevort, who also teaches securities law at Georgetown. I don't think anyone, the judge, the SEC, or Tesla's board, relishes the task of muzzling Elon Musk, and it seems that each of these wants someone else to deal with it, he said. Given their hesitancy to litigate, regulators have few options left. Senior SEC officials decided last year to stop writing to the company, convinced it wasn't working, and made the agency look powerless, according to a person familiar with the matter. And again, I just want to jump in here. They are both powerless and useless, as we've discussed. Hedge funds out there manipulating stocks every day of the week. There's a bunch of shills in the media. There's a bunch of fraudulent research firms out there funded behind the scenes through very complicated webs of hedge funds as well, in my opinion. Do your own research. Purely allegations. I don't have any proof of this. All with vested interest on doing damage or boosting share prices, okay? Stock market manipulation is rife, yet the SEC is either incapable or incompetent and does nothing about it. And this is the whole point. If the SEC was doing a great job, if they deserved and had earned respect through their actions, not their words, then this would be a very different matter. But much as Elon thinks, at least that's my perception, if I believe an authority figure deserves zero respect, they get zero respect. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and hopefully it's given you a little bit more insight into why Elon is the way he is, and why Elon, like myself, has a complete and utter lack of respect for unearned authority. Now, the moral of the story here isn't to disobey by default. That's just stupid. The moral of the story here is to question everything and don't blindly obey leaders, people in positions of power, or authority figures. Question everything, think for yourself, and act accordingly. And as I said earlier, people are packages. If you don't like what's in the package, don't buy it. If you can't deal with Elon Musk's style of communication, his brashness, his large testicles, and his total lack of respect for unearned authority, don't buy Tesla stock. Buy something else. It's that simple. You don't get to pick and choose. I'll take courage over cowardice every day of the week. This doesn't mean I'll always agree with people who have courage and confidence and stand by their convictions, but I will always respect these people. And on the flip side, I will never, even in the slightest, respect anyone or any corporation at all who panders, pleases, or tries to conform to norms because they think that's what people want. A little bit of food for thought. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you'd like up to $250 in free crypto bonuses with BlockFi, use the link in the description. You can also get 2 free stocks with WeBull and a free stock with Stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.